Hi friends, welcome back to 3 Barrow Farm. Today I'm going to chat to you about all the things that you can sow and plant in your vegetable garden in cold regions of Australia in May. So things are changing now and it is getting much cooler. We have had an amazing April, but as we get into May, things tend to cool off and I'm seeing sort of a top of 15-degree days ahead of us. So things are slowly heading towards those cooler winter months ahead. And with this, we can't sow as many varieties of vegetables as we could in previous months. But today I wanted to talk about what you can sow and plant, because if you haven't already sown some of these vegetables that I'm going to list, I would recommend purchasing some seedlings from your local nursery to plant at the same time as sowing those seeds. First up is something that we can pretty much plant every month of the year, and that is lettuce. Lettuce and salad greens. I love to just sprinkle some seeds into the ground at this time because germination rate is pretty high with the higher levels of rainfall happening and the cooler weather, so the evaporation is less. So you can just sprinkle those seeds directly into the ground and thin them out later when they all germinate. Whereas at other times of the year, you'll want to sow these seeds into punnets or seed raising trays because you'll be able to control the amount of moisture that they're receiving. Now that it's cooling down, if you just put a little bit of mulch on top, they are going to keep nice and moist under the soil. So lettuce, salad greens and spinach as well. And spinach is a great one to plant into the ground. The seeds are slightly bigger, so we can sort of see how many we're getting into that furrow that we've made, and we can plant them into the ground directly. You can also choose to raise them in punnets if you choose to do that. And along with our greens, Asian greens are also a fantastic thing to plant most of the year. So we can also get those into the ground. We can also sow them as well. They're going to do really well in the colder months. So all of these leafy greens seem to just shine brightly in the cooler months because they're not being sunburnt by the sun. They can really be quite affected because their leaves are so thin. They can be sunburnt quite easily. So they really, really do shine in the winter months. Oh, that wind is picking up. We're going to get rain later tonight. And I think this is a view of what's to come. Now, root vegetables. Root vegetables do really well in the cooler months. And if you haven't already gotten these root vegetables into the ground yet, I recommend that you sow some seeds directly into the ground. Most of these would be okay to be planted as seedlings as well, except for the parsnip. Parsnip is like carrots. They like to be sown directly into the ground. If you disturb their roots when you transplant them, they will fork. They will end up sending out multiple roots because their roots are disturbed. I don't know how it works, but they don't like it. So I recommend getting those seeds into the ground directly. Now it's kind of too late to plant our carrots. So what root vegetables you can focus on are onions and spring onions, radishes. Radish is another thing that you can plant pretty much all year round. Then we've got turnips and Swedes as well. And of course, as I mentioned before, parsnip. Okay, and also peas. It is pretty much the time to get those last pea seeds into the ground. You can, of course, do them directly into the soil, or you can raise them yourself, or you can purchase seedlings as well. Now, why I'm saying it's pretty much the last time to get them in is only because you want to get that harvest before you then want to use that space to plant your spring to summer plants. The longer you leave getting peas into the ground, the the longer it will take for them to get to fruiting. So the longer it will take for harvesting them, and then you'll want to plant your summer crops out. So I recommend getting them in now. You can still sow them into the next few months, but you will be taking up a space in your garden that you might want to use for spring summer planting. So the peas that you can plant now are snow peas, snap peas, and sugar peas. You can also get your broad beans into the ground, and I have this amazing broad bean plant behind me that's come from seed that's been left in the ground because I did not plant it. It's actually got flowers on it now. It's grown really rapidly over the past couple of weeks because I did not even see it there before I went away recently. And then I came back 3 weeks later, it's booming. So it's quite amazing. It's actually got some flowers that are turning to fruit. So it'll be interesting to see if I get some broad beans soon. But most of my broad beans, my mum and I have just planted into the ground. So I've only just gotten them in. I hope all of you have planted them earlier than I have, but get them in now. If you haven't, it'll still be fine. Okay, now we have the brassicas, and I have got my first flush of brassicas here in this garden row, and they are doing extremely well. So I've got my broccolis, my cauliflowers, I've got some cabbages in the ground too, and I've got my kale growing as well. This is your last month to be able to sow cauliflowers because they take so much longer to grow than the other vegetables. So I highly recommend, again, putting some seedlings and some seeds into the ground. You can put the seeds into punnets. You don't have to put them directly into the ground. You can do whichever you want, but it is okay to put the seeds in the ground as well. But I recommend getting some seedlings from your nursery to put into the ground at the same time as sowing your seeds. If you've been here for a while, you'll know that I talk about succession planting a lot. We want to succession plant so that we don't receive everything at the one go. However, if you do receive all of your cauliflowers in the one turn, you want to make sure that you have some space in your freezer to blanch and freeze those cauliflowers, or else you're going to be eating cauliflower every single night of the week. So do yourself a favor and get those seedlings into the ground at the same time as planting seed, and get those cauliflowers in. This is the last month to really get them in so they get a little bit more of that warmth that we will get before it goes really cold. I have got quite a bit of grass coming up in this garden bed here. And then there are your herbs. I would recommend coriander and parsley as two wonderful plants that you can get into the ground and you can see grow really well through winter. Coriander does extremely well with the cooler climate, as well as parsley. Parsley can get into the warmer climates for a bit longer than coriander. Coriander you will see go to seed very quickly as soon as it warms up. So getting your coriander in now so it can get a little bit of the warmth of the sun and grow a little bit more rapidly before it gets colder and growth sort of slows down. Now, this is what I also mean by succession sowing and getting some of those seedlings from the nursery, because the seedlings are going to get that extra bit of growth going before it gets cold. And as soon as it does get cold, particularly going into July and August, everything starts to slow down. The growth really does teeter off. So we want to try and get as much out of this month of May as possible. I like to also mention flowers, because flowers do bring in the beneficial insects into our garden, and they bring some joy as well. I always say to my fellow gardeners that flowers are food for the soul. So adding some flowers into your garden will definitely help you, particularly with the winter blues and how dark it can get. It's nice to have some flowers there to cheer you up. So calendula is fantastic. It's fast growing. You will see some flowers in no time. I have got calendula all over my garden. So feel free to reach out if you're a local. I can dig up some calendula plants because I literally have a million of them. You can also plant some poppies out, just scatter some poppy seed and see what happens. I have got some poppies coming up from the seed that has naturally dropped from the ones I let go to seed, and I'll probably have a million of those coming up over the next few months and into spring. I've also got some cornflowers coming up naturally as well, and some sweet peas as well. So I need to transplant my sweet peas actually because they are all growing in the pathway. So I'll need to transfer them. And also transplanting these seedlings, this is a good time to do it because, well, tomorrow it's going to rain like crazy. So today's a great day to transplant. But also it's cooler. So they're going to survive more than if you would transplant them in the middle of summer heat, you know. So now's a great time to transplant your flowers and your other plants. If you've got them growing in areas that you don't want them to, you can put them in nice rows elsewhere or circles or whatever you choose to do. Just make sure you dig them out with a bit of soil attached to their roots and then water them in as well. But they're going to do far better in May than they would have done back in March. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you got something from this video. I always love to talk about what we can plant now because I know that it helps you all, and I really appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers and to all my old subscribers as well, and to my members. Thank you so much for being here. I've got a cat running after a dog now. I hope that everything you sow and plant this month do really well in your garden and you get an amazing harvest. As always, do comment down below and let me know how you are going in your garden. If there's anything new for you, and if you're still harvesting things, let me know what you're harvesting this month of May. I absolutely love May. It is my birthday month, so my birthday is coming up, but also it is the most picturesque, beautiful month with all of the autumn leaves. We have got the most beautiful big ash tree out in our front garden, and it is putting on the most amazing show. Take care of yourselves, my friends, and I will see you again very soon for another video. Bye for now. This is our farm cat, Harry. He's the only one out of our 3 cats that's allowed outside because he eats mice and he doesn't disturb the birds. Not very good at catching birds, which is a blessing. He also just sticks around me, which is really handy. He's kind of part dog, but he's very much a cat because he doesn't like to have cuddles. So not very much like a dog at all in that aspect. Not in the vegetable garden. Do you understand those? There's all this 42 acres for you to run around and you choose the vegetable garden.